I can tell we're gonna be talking a lot.
Yeah.
I can just tell from your vibe. All right.
Okay.
Hey friends, welcome back to On Location Vancouver. I'm so excited to be here on a beautiful sunny day in Vancouver, in Gastown. And joining me today is someone who has a very exciting project out. I'm gonna let him share all about this project. Now we're here sitting in front of his many Leo Awards, where he's recognized for the work that he's done. Many shows that you may be very familiar with, and the most recent one that Mr. Tyson Hepburn is going to talk about, where he follows Canadian athletes who are going all the way to Milan. Tyson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you tell us about Redemption Run.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So Redemption Run is a 3-part series for CBC and CBC Gem, following the men's and women's Olympic bobsleigh team as they prepare for the 2026 upcoming Olympic Games. We started this project. We actually started this project many years ago in development, but we started filming production in October, November 2024. So it was quite a long cycle actually, and so we shot from October basically to almost June.
Incredible. And we were watching some trailers just before we started filming. Really incredible. This is something that you're producing, Tyson Media is producing from scratch, from the get-go. And today is the day when the athletes who get to go to Milan, to go to Cortina, they were announced today. Like we were seeing it all over socials, all over the news. What is it like to see these athletes get announced, to be part of this journey, you know, filming all this behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big day for a lot of these athletes, you know, for the best, and unfortunately for some of the athletes for, you know, the worst, in fact, because some of them did not make the team. So, and some beautiful, amazing people that we filmed with, in fact, didn't make the final team. But I mean, that's sports, right? I mean, it's pro sports, it's the Olympics, right? So you know, so I feel great for the people that got to make the team, and for a few of the folks that featured in the documentary that didn't make the team. I hope that for those folks, this show ends up being you know, a nice piece for them to remember the you know, their experience by, right? You know, okay, they didn't make it to the games, but they got to participate in a pretty cool show and tell their story through our Redemption Run, which, you know, in the course of the show.
I'm sure you must have had conversations while filming in Whistler, while talking to these athletes, or even when the cameras weren't rolling. Did you have days that you're like, maybe I really needed to listen to that conversation, or this is what I'm learning, because this is your baby. You following these athletes, you putting this crew together. What sort of other lessons? I feel like what I'm hearing is a lot of resilience and grit is what you learned during this process.
Yeah, for sure. I think I learned more on this production than I think I have learned on every other production I've done, because of the fact that you're with these elite athletes and this amazing, incredible program that makes up Bobsleigh Canada Skeleton, and there's so much that is passed down from these incredible coaches that are mostly former athletes themselves, gold medalists, you know, Olympic participants, and so so I learned a ton. I definitely learned a lot. One of the key things I think I learned was trust the process is a key thing that I learned from some of these athletes. From Melissa Lothels actually said that a lot. Trust the process. And what she means by that is it's kind of just like one step at a time, you know? So one step at a time, and because the bobsled it's just like a lot of Olympic sports where you're training for 4 years for one run, right? 4 times, so 4 minutes. So 4 years of work, of training for like these 4 1-minute runs to like all the glory, right? And so it's pretty incredible. And so obviously we don't have that same kind of thing. We're basically, you know, a year plus of production time for to produce these 3 hours of TV, you know, so a little bit of a comparable, you know, but obviously not as
Because when you're watching it, you're like, okay, 3 episodes done, and now what? And not knowing all the time that goes in, all the time, the energy and the setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it was a very inspirational time to be. You're gonna get to visit these athletes in Cortina.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. So we're going to. So right now, as part of my honeymoon, we're going to Milan. We do have some meetings set up with various organizations actually while we're there, and then ideally I get to go up to Cortina and see the athletes do their best work. So I hope I get to see them, and they've been doing great recently. Like I've been the guy that's been watching them on their World Cup tour because they've been competing right up until this whole time.
They just flew back home on
They
Monday.
just flew back from Germany. So you've been following it?
A little bit, and thanks to Leslie off camera, I've been staying up to date because I really wanted to make sure that we got an opportunity to sit down with you and obviously some of the athletes, because for me, it's like I may not be the most sporty person, but I like being around people who excel in their field and learning from them, because like you're saying, years of training and then 4 minutes. And then I think that requires, of course, there's the physical part of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot the mental part.
Yes.
And you're representing your country on a global level with the whole world watching. So the nerves have to be cool as cucumbers. So I'm so excited to get to talk to them.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I do think Melissa would be great to chat with. I mean, they're all wonderful, but I know you had to talk with Melissa, so I'd highly recommend and speaking with her. She's such a great, I mean, they're all wonderful people. Cynthia, Melissa, you know, I love all of them. So I hope you get to talk to some of them. Absolutely.
I had the opportunity before Paris 2024 Olympics. It was such a last minute decision to go to Paris, and then the consulate here connected me to some athletes. And so I had the opportunity to interview a Paralympian who brought home a medal, as well as I finagled my way into the Olympic Village, you know, just don't ask how, but I did.
Okay.
And they took our passports, it was a thing. And that's where I saw the Canadian women's rugby team.
Oh, wow.
You know, and then I got to interview them once I got back home because they were under strict orders. No interviews other than CBC, but I was like, at least I'm going to get this video. Like, we did a little clip at the Olympic Village.
That's great.
So very excited to go to Milan. Now, when you think about the title, I'm very curious about the title, Redemption Run. It certainly creates like a feeling inside of me. And I'm sure for a lot of Canadians with the Olympics around the corner, this is going to be very exciting to watch. What does redemption mean to you personally?
Yeah, so redemption to me, I guess, is, in a sense, it's unfinished business, right? It's essentially something in your life, if it's in the sports world or in another part of your life, that it didn't quite go the way that it was supposed to go, right? And so redemption is your shot to change, to fix, to evolve, you know. And so obviously everyone has their own definition of redemption, right? So for the show, it's Redemption Run from a program perspective, you know. This Bobsleigh Canada program has been through a huge turmoil, right? Well publicized. And they are finally rebuilding again, right? So the program is rebuilding, you know, and then the athletes, each of these athletes has their own redemption story, you know, because a lot of them, if they're you know, nobody grows up to be a bobsledder, or most of them don't grow up trying to be a bobsledder, right? They grow up with their eye on a different sport, you know? If that's football, rugby, shot put, track and field, you know, whatever it is, they grow up wanting to do this other sport, and then for whatever reason, they find their way to bobsleigh, right? Something, you know, maybe goes wrong in their sporting program, they get injured, they don't quite make it, whatever. Bobsleigh is the second chance. It's the second opportunity to get to that top point.
Why bobsleigh? Like, where did this inspiration come from to focus on this sport?
Yeah. I mean, so I did have a great connection with a friend, Justin Cripps, who's an amazing Olympic champion, friend of mine, great guy. So this idea originated through him. But it wasn't just a friendship. Obviously, it had to be a smart business decision for our company, and we needed to know that this was going to make really good TV, you know. And they call bobsleigh Formula One on ice, right? And they call bobsleigh Formula One on ice for a reason, right? It's fast. It's a track. There's injuries. There's big competition. There's crashes. It's an exciting sport.
Much more scary than, I mean, watching your guys' cuts. It looks phenomenal. Like,
yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. More dangerous than Formula One, I would even say.
I mean, I think because Formula One is, yeah, I don't know the statistics on that, but I know that bobsleigh is very dangerous. And I know that we captured a lot of really crazy content in the course of making our show, you know, a lot of crazy content, you know, so it was a real journey to get this thing done.
Now, Redemption Run is a new CBC docuseries that takes us behind the scenes of the Canadian Bobsleigh Team, and this is, where can viewers watch Redemption Run? Like, on what day is it up? On CBC Gem? Is it on TV tonight?
Yeah, so it's streaming on CBC Gem right now. So it's available on CBC Gem. It's streaming now, and it will be available through the Olympics, after the Olympics. And then it's also dropping on CBC main channel.
Yay!
Right?
Congratulations!
So it's going to be on linear in prime time on February 1st. I believe 7 o'clock. It's going to go 3 episodes back to back to back.
Amazing. I love it. I'm curious, other than the episodes, because you must have so much footage to go through because you're filming for so long. Are you going to use any of that behind the scene moments? Like, will we catch it on social media?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we're already on social media. I would love if you and your followers could follow us. It's Redemption Run 2026 on Instagram. We're
Done.
We're on YouTube, and we're, you know, we love hearing from different people, and they're already asking, hey, can I see this outside of Canada? We can't yet. We don't have anything to announce just yet, but we might before the Olympics.
There are conversations.
Yeah. We're hoping to see this thing go international. So.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What are your hopes? Like, would you like to see it evolve or focus on a different sport, Canadian sport? Like, what are your hopes for the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're going 2 ways. So we're exploring, for LA 2028, we're exploring some different athlete programs for Canada, you know? And yeah, I can't really talk about the exact programs yet because we don't have them, it's not fully signed up, but there are some really exciting sports in the Summer Olympic world, and I think LA 28 is going to be, you know, it's going to be really interesting, exciting, right? I mean, same time zone to Vancouver, so we could
2.5 hour flight. Just like, or you could drive up there. It's a beautiful drive.
Yeah, so we're excited about LA 28 and what we could potentially do there with that program. And then also, we would love to expand the show and keep the show going, right? I mean, we've been told if the show does well and we think it's going to perform well, what does the future look like, you know, for this show? It could be pretty exciting, right? And we could be doing we would love to do another season of the show, right? The rebuild after the Olympics. And we would love to involve some of the other teams as part of this as well, you know? And because there's so many amazing bobsleigh nations out there, so we think we could do a really cool competitive show with multiple nations.
And also showing their personalities, but these are real folks. You're going behind the scenes. What were some interesting facts about the Canadian team that you learned, and also about bobsleigh while filming, that perhaps made you go like, wow, I didn't know they have to deal with this, or you know, a moment that we saw now talking about funding, you know, money is
the funding is crazy. I mean, they have to pay. I mean, I didn't know. I knew that the funding situation was bad for Olympians, but I didn't know how dramatically challenging it can be for these guys and girls, men and women. You know, it's incredible. Like, this past year, they had to pay higher team fees than they've ever had to pay, right? Which is like $40,000 or something, right? And so if it's not coming out of their pocket, it's coming out of their sponsors' pockets, right? They'll have individual sponsors, but it's really hard, right? They have to pay a lot of money. you know, and so
Are the athletes or the team managers like doing the fundraising? How is that going? Do they get support from the government?
they do, but the government support got cut, and so we talk about that a bit in the context of the show. You know what happened to the program, right? And the thing is, like, as far as I understand it, I don't know all the dynamics of the economics of the program, but like if you're winning medals, you get more money, right? It's like the government wants to throw money at the programs that have the best chance of winning medals. And then the programs that aren't winning medals, they don't get it, it's dry, right? They don't get as much funding from the government. So as far as I understand it, that's one of the reasons why. And then if you watch the show, another, you know, obviously plug on their show, you can see the whole kind of like, not the fall of the program, but all the challenges they've had. And now they're kind of back up on the upswing. You know, they've got a lot of private sponsors that the CEO and the publicist are working on.
And I'm sure that showing these conversations that are happening, like even right now in the trailers you were showing me, it creates a conversation. Like you don't know who is watching, who wants to be like, I want to support our Canadian athletes. I want to support this team and make sure that they're, you know, whether it's equipment or whatever they need, you know, like I saw some folks, they were wearing jackets and
Carbon. Carbon, they have an amazing sponsorship with this company called Carbon, and we do a really good job of just, you know, organically. Carbon didn't give them money, didn't give us any money, but it's this great opportunity for them to get their brand out there better than anything, right? So I hope that the brands they have now can understand like what the show has done, I think, and it's going to do a lot for these Canadian brands, you know, and I hope in the future that some of these brands can just, you know, in conjunction with what's going on with this sport, we'll be able to do a lot, right? So
completely. When I was in Paris at the Olympic Village, one of the things that I noticed that how much the Americans, when it came to press and PR, like whether it's the news or Kellogg's or this and that, they're on all these boxes. They put a lot of money behind their athletes and promoting them. And I'm so glad that you're doing a show like this. And I think just the state of affairs right now, this is so on time, on target for us. And I think a lot of folks are going to tune in to see this. Now, the show is filmed here in our backyard in BC, in Whistler. Viewers who are either BC-based or around Canada, tell us about some locations that we'll see, you know, any place that you went to that you didn't get to explore, that you can't wait to go back.
I mean, this show was a truly international, it was a truly Canadian production. It was a truly BC production, but it was also an international show. So we filmed a lot at the Whistler Sliding Center, you know, which is the fastest circuit, the fastest track in the world, you know. So it was amazing to film there. They gave us full access. They were so incredible with us. They gave us access to all their footage, all their content. And so we filmed a lot of that track. It was great, and it was like the most exciting place to film. And then we also got a chance to, you know, we filmed in Calgary at their headquarters, right, where Bobsleigh Canada's, the Canadian Sport Institute, right around where the former bobsled track used to be. They shut that down. So we filmed quite a few days in Calgary. We filmed the bulk of our show in Whistler. And then we also got a chance to go on site with them. We filmed in Altenburg, Germany, right? So we filmed in Altenburg, Germany, which is a really interesting old school track that was formerly East Germany. So it was like Russian, Soviet, Germany. It was built by the Soviets like in the 80s, and it's like hasn't been changed since. It's like super old school and crazy looking. And then we also filmed in Lake Placid, New York for World Championships. So that was cool. So we got a taste of a bunch of different places, and then obviously we didn't just have access with Bobsleigh Canada. We had multiple access points to build the show. So we had the Whistler Sliding Center, which is a huge...
And that's what makes it exciting, because you're going to different places. And as you were talking, I was just thinking, so I'm going to Milan. We're going to connect, fingers crossed, in Milan as well. and I joined a few different Facebook groups for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then in one group they were like, hey, are there any Canadians? Because there are like a lot of American fans.
Yeah.
And there's some Canadians, and then they created this WhatsApp group, and people were talking about how someone is like living in like Switzerland, or like someone who is originally from Mexico but coming from Toronto. So I was thinking they are going to love your show.
Yeah.
And there's folks, I didn't know this, who come from around the world to just volunteer.
Oh wow.
That is a different. There was one woman that I met in Paris. I think her Instagram handle is like Miss Olympics or the biggest Olympics fan, and she's been featured in all. But I think for no, she's American. But I feel like I'm gonna share your show in the WhatsApp group because everyone.
Please do.
Because people are like, even though I'm from Iran, even though I'm from Mexico, I'm coming to support Team Canada because I'm Canadian.
Oh wow!
And I think they're gonna love your show.
Oh, I didn't know there's. That's great. I assume there's gonna be a bunch of Canadians there, at least a few. That's awesome. I'm glad to see we got such a great Olympic. There's Canadians everywhere, right? And ideally, everybody gets to watch the show around the world, 100%. And then from our perspective, it's like. Just all the organizations that were involved in the show, it's incredible how many we had. So we had Whistler Sliding Center, Bobsleigh Canada, the Canadian Sport Institute, and then we had the IBSF, which is the International Bobsleigh and Skeleton Organization. So they run these World Cup tours, and we worked out a deal with them to buy footage off of them, right? And to work with them. So we actually got a lot of footage from them for these various other World Cup places that they went. They go all over the place, right? So they go to Austria, Latvia, they go to Switzerland, they go to Germany for a couple other stops, So we were able to use some of that footage for our show as well. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Can't wait to watch all the full episodes. Now, is there a particular moment or conversation or an episode that you're like, hey, you gotta like watch this one because this is the heart of Redemption Run?
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of great stories. So how our show is structured is the episode 1 is the women's team, the episode 2 is the men's team, and the episode 3 is the men and women's team at World Championships in Lake Placid, New York, right? So we did women, men, Lake Placid, New York for World Championships, which is exciting. And the one one story that sticks out in my mind in particular is a guy, Davison Boca de Souza, so they call him Boca. So he had a really horrific injury on the bobsleigh track that is documented in our show, and I don't want to give too much away, but he had a pretty incredible redemption story. I mean, like he had and I want people to watch the show, but we're talking like a really terrible injury, and we captured the whole thing. And
the injury on camera.
The injury's on camera, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's on camera. It's in the show, and what he was able to do after is pretty incredible, and it's too bad we could have, the show could have used a couple more episodes. We kind of ran out of money. It was incredibly challenging funding scenario, on the show. I mean, we funded the show first before CBC got involved, so it was a challenge, but we got it done. We're very excited, and
I foresee more episodes coming through.
I'd love to do some
you guys
more.
have put a lot of heart into this, and I think a lot of Canadians will be excited to watch this. I want to talk a bit about you and what you've done, because this is not your first show. We're here in your office. It's a beautiful day. We're looking at these gorgeous mountains. But days like today make you go like, my goodness, I'm so grateful we call Vancouver home. Tyson Media is a Vancouver-based company. How did being rooted here shape how you tell stories through your many shows? Because this is not your only show. You have this
Ross Valley. I'm seeing
know?
those guys tonight actually. So that was our biggest show. by far was Rust Valley Restorers. So that was shot in the Okanagan, you know. But we filmed shows all over the world, you know. So Rust Valley Restorers was one of the big ones we did. Another big one we did was Coldwater Cowboys, a big fishing show we did. You know, we'll call it the trifecta. It was like our fishing show we did in Newfoundland was pretty exciting. And then we did Rust Valley Restorers, which is our car show, automotive show. It's huge on Netflix. And now this one, Redemption Run, I would consider those my three biggest ones. But we also had some other ones along the way. We shot a pretty exciting, pretty interesting show here in Vancouver, Pets and Pickers. It was an animal hospital show. Yeah, so we love animals. Yeah, it's on Crave. Yeah. We did 2 animal shows actually on Crave. So we got another one coming out now. And animal hospital productions seem to be a sweet spot. For the last 5 years, we've been doing tons of animal shows.
I'm so in for that because I have 2 fur babies.
Yes.
And you know, one of them got spayed yesterday, so we're in the nursing phase right now.
Oh my gosh, that's
so I'm all about more content with fur babies.
Yeah.
This show, On Location Vancouver, we have folks, you know, who have production companies, then we have folks who just do Instagram, and then folks who are super beginners. I would love to hear from someone like you, you know, what advice you would give to like aspiring creator, which could be just something that you're doing online, or someone who wants to create shows like what you're creating.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like let's back up a little bit. Like, how did you get started? And then I'd like to hear what advice you'd like to give to creators out there.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the cool thing about my career is, so 2000, it was crazy. So 2010 Olympics was kind of the restart of my career. You know, I had done a little bit of work previous to that, but not that much. And I went back to school, so I kind of like. You know, finished my degree in film. I'd done some work on a couple shows previous to that, 2007, almost like 20 years ago. Wow. But I hadn't really done much, right? So my real career, I would say, kind of kicked off in 2010. And the interesting thing was, so I had a job actually through a friend getting an opportunity to film the Olympics, right? I was one of the like assistant camera guys, which would have been super fun. But as it turned out, that job kind of fell through. So that job fell through. So all of a sudden I wasn't filming the Olympics, and then I found out that this really interesting pyrotechnic fireworks crew was coming to Vancouver, and they were doing all the fireworks shows throughout. Were you there for 2010? Or?
I was here for 2010, but I was not as involved like I am right now.
But you know the fireworks show on the barge behind Yaletown? They had the fireworks show almost every night for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, but I also saw like the very end. Yes.
Yeah.
I was living downtown.
Yeah. Oh, you were. Yeah. So I was on that barge filming. Mm-hmm. So they're like, I was like, hey, can we film you guys? I lost my job. I have this camera equipment. I had another guy that was in his job had fallen through. So let's film this crazy thing. And so we filmed the fireworks show on this barge. It was wild. It was fun. It was crazy. And I turned it into a little 5-minute reel. And then we ended up selling that to a production company in town at the time, and they sold the show to what was Discovery Channel at the time, which was huge. And then it ended up being a show called Pyros, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the start. That kicked it off for me, right? So it was pretty cool. I mean, these days with the proliferation of YouTube, I would say the creator economy, that's probably a better way. You can just load stuff up yourself and make it big on YouTube without having. At least starting there, right? You know, I mean, and the industry keeps shifting in so many different ways. I don't know where it's going to land next.
Did you start out as a camera operator?
I was camera producer, right? Mm-hmm. I would go out, I'd film, I still shoot. I shot Redemption Run. I shot a big part of Redemption Run, right? So, yeah, I do everything.
That's amazing, but I think that's how you have to do it. You have to roll up the sleeves. You have to, like, even with me, like, it's like, Leslie knows this, who's sitting behind the camera. When I first started out, it's like, okay, I'm the talent, I'm on camera, there's the camera ops. Yeah. But I think you have to learn, you know, from editing to like mic, sound, and I'm like traveling with On Location to like other parts of BC. And I think I even had an injury last year, and I'm like limping a little bit, and here I am carrying my little tripod. But
I didn't know.
No, not right now. Last year. But I think this is what allows you, when you get on the bigger shows, that you can respect the team, and you know when you've done all that work, you've done all those jobs from sound to this and that.
Yeah, and it gives you experience so you know like how to speak in their language, whatever the language would be. Every department in a film, you know, if you're talking about a big set, right? Each department has its own language essentially, right? So the more jobs you've done, the more you know, the more you're able to know the hierarchy and how each job works and their language, you know.
Now, from camera and producing to like filming something during the Olympics to starting Tyson Media, what was that jump like? Because obviously, you know, we're sitting here in front of your awards, like all the shows, like there's all this work, you know, I'm seeing, like it's really inspiring to see, like even.
Oh yeah, we got lots of projects. Yeah.
I know, I love that.
Can't show that on camera.
You know, we're not going to show it on camera, but for
Secret.
someone like me, producing stuff, like it's great to see how someone's mind works, and you're not just creating shows, you're selling them, you're getting them on networks, and it's not just one, but you're also helping other folks, like you have people like hiring folks.
Here,
you know, so tell me how you went from like just this to now Tyson Media and how the growth happened.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's great. So we started with that original Olympic project in 2010, the Pyros, the fireworks techno fireworks guys. That was a show that we sold to another company. And then I worked with Academy Award nominated producer David Paperny. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he had Paperny films and TV for a long time. And we partnered with him and we made some of our biggest hits with that production company, you know?
One of my friends worked for Paperny.
Okay, nice. Yeah, great. So we did a few shows with him, most notable being our Newfoundland fishing show. Had a great time with him, you know? He's an incredible guy. And we made some really good TV with him, and then after that, I partnered another producer actually in town, and we formed Mayhem Entertainment. Mayhem Entertainment made our show Rust Valley Restorers, right? And that was the biggest hit of all time. So we had that partnership going for a few years. And made an awesome show in Rust Valley.
Did you always picture like that you were going to do like create shows? Like was that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think I just didn't know what kind of stuff we'd be doing, you know. So obviously we started to think about scripted, but and scripted is still something I'm interested in. But you know, documentary and reality TV and this kind of whole thing is it's an exciting world, you know, and it's a lot of fun to learn about. And so, you know, I enjoy this world and I enjoy the scripted world and yeah. So I don't know if I answered the question properly.
No, I'm just curious. Like everything I'm asking you, it's like for my benefit. Like, you know, I'm curious about your journey because I think it's really fascinating. Also, like at your age, like you know, you've been able to accomplish quite a bit. So it's really inspiring to see, and you know, not only just for you, but you're able to then hire other folks and guide them and mentor them, and then you know, highlight folks here, like from these athletes to these other folks. Anyways, thank you so much. I know you're really busy.
No,
I know the show is launching. The athletes got announced today. So much is going on. So I'm so grateful we're able to sit down and have this conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
For anyone out there, what would you like to share with folks about Redemption Run and why they should not miss it?
Yeah, I mean, if you like the Olympics, if you're into winter sports, check out Redemption Run. It's streaming now. It's on the platform and it's streaming for free. So you can literally go on, sign up for an account on CBC Gym and watch the whole series for free if you're in Canada. So check it out. Or main channel February 1st, streaming all the way through the Olympics.
Incredible. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Tyson.
Thank you so much.
Looking forard to seeing you in Milan.
Yes,
Milano.
let's go.
Yes. Go Team Canada.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm wearing my Team Canada sweater.
Yeah.
All right.
She's got to get a sweater too.
Yeah, Maddie needs her sweater. Well, thank you all for
Thanks
tuning
so much.
in. We're very grateful Tyson was